Chapter 9. One door closes, another opens.
All my personal stuff was at Vigil's Manor, so my first instinct was to go back there. Also, I had to let Hannah's parents know where they were and that one of their staff members was part of the revolutionaries. I realize now, I wasn't able to think clearly from the heartache and pain I was in. Of course, when I told them what went down in town, they didn't let me leave until Hannah returned safe and sound. When she came home and saw me in her house, fear and panic flooded her eyes, and her mouth had lost all sensation. She figured I didn't mention anything about myself to her family, as they still acted above me. Immediately, all of them got together in her father's office, and I found myself in front of two very mad faces. My arm was persistently bleeding while I was doing my best to put pressure on the wound, but the blood kept seeping through my fingers. A forceful hit on the table jolted me from my thoughts. "You're fired. I forbid you to ever return to this estate." Her father, Tempus, was sitting behind his desk, red with anger. "You useless bitch. How dare you hurt my daughter again? You're worse than trash. We gave you everything. I hope you rot on the road where you came from." Eris was having a complete nervous breakdown, shaking, sweating, and her voice cracking. "I can't believe I let a creature like you spend time with my daughter. I wanted to give people like you a chance, but it's obvious you're not worthy. Take that trash of yours with you and don't appear before us again." During her parents' meltdown, Hannah rigidly stayed close to her mother. She was pale as a ghost, not saying a word. I watched her parents' cruel words bounce off her, and I wished I could take her away from them. "And that blood, you're going to ruin my floor," Eris yelled while rushing to approach me. "Get out already," she screeched, smacking me across my face. I gritted my teeth and looked at Hannah. She was trembling in fear, looking way worse than I. She was afraid I would kill them all, but I wanted to be better than that. I needed to be better for her. She didn't deserve any of it. I began to apologize for something I didn't even do, Madame, but ended up with her spit sliding down my face. "So, this is how people are treated. I saved them, but this is what I get. Why did I even hope things could go well for me?" I realized a lot of things at that moment. The only thing that protected me from all kinds of mistreatment was my last name, something I hadn't earned in any way. I was nothing without it. It was a harsh and ugly feeling to experience injustice and rejection firsthand. The degree to which my words left no impact on any of them, and my very existence was irrelevant, was painful. It appeared that some individuals genuinely enjoyed being cruel and malicious, which went against my earlier conviction that most people were simply unaware of their flaws and acted poorly due to deep-seated wounds from their own lives. I've always been someone who cared deeply about fairness and things being just right. Any kind of injustice bothered me. It was hard to accept that life isn't fair, that injustice is everywhere, and that few people are willing to confront it. Our world was seriously lacking in people with that kind of character. It's easier to protect yourself, turn a blind eye, and hope someone else will be brave enough to sacrifice themselves to fight for what's right. Deciding not to make a scene, I collected my stuff, and when I was on my way out, Hannah called out my name. Her usually soft voice trembled with fear. "Don't turn around." I could only guess she was a few meters behind me, probably on the stairs. She was afraid of me, which was something I never wanted to make her feel. After a short pause, she continued, "Please, forgive my mother, you know how she can be. Please, they didn't know." I was too tired and worn out to even consider talking. She didn't lift a finger to defend me. I wasn't mad at her. I was just done with that family. "Why did you lie?" The wooden stairs creaked, once, Twice, 3 times, and her voice drew a little closer. What were you trying to accomplish? Were you sent here to spy on us? Are you with them? She is doubting my intentions. I can't listen to this. After a few words, a huge disappointment settled in my chest, and I walked out of the house.
Shortly after the Vigil family's decision to let go of their nanny and helper, Ina, their oldest daughter Hannah walked towards her parents' office with a courageous and resolute stride, hearing their voices from inside. "Mother, you shouldn't act like that. She did nothing wrong to deserve that." Surprisingly calm, looking over her shoulder, Eris said, "Don't disgrace yourself. That human almost got both of you killed." "It's not how it seems." Hannah shook her head, her fingers gripping the skirt. "She was." "Stop it this instant, Hannah. You need to learn from this experience," she blurted out, catching her reflection in a nearby mirror. With a disgusted expression, she started to rearrange strands of her hair. "Your father and I know how to handle them. They need to know their place. We're above them, and they need to understand that completely. Otherwise, they'll turn against us and do their own thing. Can't you see what's already happening?" The rest of the staff are confused and scared. "The driver you hired is the one who..." Ridiculous. Hannah's mother reached out, her touch unexpected, and with a quiet tug, she separated Hannah's clutching hands from the fabric. "You're going to wrinkle this beautiful dress. Your speech and behavior right now are more suited for some animal than a girl of your standing," she said, her hands caressing Hannah's softly. "Don't let them get to you. Even if we provide them with everything, they'd always find something to whine about. That's why they lead the lives they do. My dear," her hand slowly glided down her daughter's cheek, "the only thing you need to be concerned with is this family, because you will inherit it one day. They are easily replaced, you'll see. But us? We are invaluable." Unable to find a common ground with her parents, Hannah stormed out of the room, while the staff looked out of the corner of their eye, extra careful about their every move. She couldn't bring herself to tell them the truth, but tried to correct their misconceptions and still failed. Her heart wouldn't settle until she was facing the gorgeous animal, the scent of the barn a comforting presence in her nose. It was her usual escape, the place where she always found solace, and perhaps that was why she had named her beloved horse Spirit. He nudged her with his head, a soft whinny escaping him, as her hand lovingly stroked his robust neck. The color slowly came back to her face as she led her horse on the pasture, a place where she would try to find herself. After Hannah stormed off, following a few disapproving noises, Eris continued to talk to her husband, who was sitting the whole time, uninterested in interfering in their conversation. "I can't believe the future leader, such a disgrace for the police family, isn't she? She did nothing. She could have put at least one bullet in that scum." "Be careful what you say. You never know who might be listening," he said, leaning his elbow on the desk, resting his head. "Who knows what would have happened if she weren't there?" Finally giving up on her unruly strands of hair, Eris settled into the armchair opposite Tempus, slightly lifting her long skirt to cross her legs, where a few greenish veins were visible and became even more pronounced in combination with her green heels. "You think they targeted our Hannah? For what reason? They're living the high life, with great jobs and everything they could want. It hurts me to say this, but our family isn't as influential as it used to be. Why would they target us? I'm sure this wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been with her. What is she even doing in our town, 150 kilometers from her home? Mai isn't your typical officer, she's part of a team that covers the entire country, gathering intelligence for high-profile cases. My NYX was, among other things, a member of a specialized law enforcement unit focused on sensitive investigations, obtaining in-depth information focused on significant legal matters that are likely to be complex, public, and have high stakes. That meant that wherever she had been sent, something was brewing beneath the surface. Are you saying something is going on with lowborns? In our town? Love Town? Right under our noses? Tempers, do you truly think we would miss something so big? I told you the situation all over the country is worse, it's spreading like wildfire. Now, leave me to work. You need to find a new nanny for the twins.
My improvised bandage was soaked in blood as I dragged all my stuff on my way to the town. No matter how much I tried to avoid using it, my arm was throbbing. As I was getting deeper into the town, I got some weird looks, and to make things worse, the police were everywhere. The street where the shooting happened was marked out with red tape, so I followed another road. I didn't want to risk meeting my again. I was hoping to find a spot where I could connect with someone from my family, but it was easier said than done. Our country is huge, and there are not many of us. A lonely bench on the outskirts of the town called to me to rest my tired body, and there, as I was about to give up, a miracle happened. "Is that you, Lady Inna?" Just by luck, one of our members was nearby and responded to my call for help. In short, I was telepathically connected with all Norse Kratos staff, so I could contact them quickly if needed. "My lady, I will be right there." Finally, I could set my things down on the ground and rest. Everything somehow seemed so calm and peaceful. The streetlights slowly turned on, one by one, as the last rays of sunlight disappeared, revealing a starry carpet that stood out without the light pollution of a big city. Gently, I unwrapped a part of the bandage to see if the bleeding had stopped, but the sight, although slightly better, wasn't pretty. It was a deep gash just under my shoulder. The bullet had completely stripped away the skin in that area and torn the superficial part of the muscle, which was barely hanging on. My ear twitched at the sound of footsteps that were slowly but surely approaching until a voice made something in my chest flutter. "Where will you go now?" It was my Karma, but I still didn't know what to expect from her. "I'm going back. I have no other choice," I responded in a monotone voice. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have pretended I didn't see." Her words drifted out, barely stirring the air, soft as a feather. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't erase who I was anymore and wasn't sure how to approach this new situation. I didn't have the energy to find somewhere else to stay, to risk someone recognizing me. I dyed my hair for years, and I grew tired of it. It is time to accept who I am. She continued, "I can't help but feel sorry. I promised you. There is nothing to be sorry about. I should have told them the truth sooner, at least to my. Lying to people always complicates matters, even if our intentions are good. This one was on me." A black car pulled in front, and I knew my little adventure was over. My family member helped me put my bags in the trunk, occasionally looking towards but remained silent. My hand grabbed the door handle, and I paused. I yearned to see her face, but I feared that I would cause her more pain. The door swung open, and I sat in the back seat, my gaze fixed straight ahead, while the driver pushed the door shut, eventually concealing my face behind the tinted windows. In the end, the echo of her words was all that remained. The turning of the wheels left behind the life I had placed so many hopes in, and a lump began to tighten in my throat. I wanted to cry, but would crying help in that situation? It was so sudden that it left me with no choice. I had to go back to my family. My cover was ruined, and my heart, which I so rarely opened, got wounded again. My decision left me feeling empty inside, but I made a choice that had to be made. I won't say I felt bad about using my power. I did lose people I cared about, but at least they were alive. I would have never forgiven myself if something had happened to them. I have faith in those two. They could change the country if they became heads of their families.